Hi everybody, and we're back with Shadows of Undrentide. And Goofuth has had a little rest here, and I think he's finally ready to pursue those kobolds who went off to the south of Hilltop. He's managed to find one group of kobolds who hid on a farm to the north, but they really didn't have anything of importance aside from a deck of cards belonging to the halfling caravan's soothsayer, I guess is what we might call her. And I think he's going to check in on Drogon before we actually head out. Does wake up for a moment and recognizes Goofuth, but that's about it. So there's not really much of a development going on here. And I believe that there was one thing I actually checked, which is Zarin, the Red Wizard, actually mentioned the name Altabar, and we didn't know what that. I didn't know what that was. Turns out it's simply the capital of Thay. So that's that. Certainly good to know. And I'm still not 100% sure if the settings are alright. I increased some sound levels a bit, but we're still not loud enough. I think we're good now, but it's a work in progress, really. And because I'm so fond of this game, I actually got quite into it. I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm still recording before I even started uploading the series. Sorry about that. Although I guess that rapid progression of the LP is definitely ensured now. And yeah, the halfling lady actually predicted Goofuth's future. She knew that he was on the look for something very important. And that to the east, somebody was actually in possession of. I think she only mentioned one thing, but possibly she meant multiple things. Don't know if that's maybe here. Yeah, there. But we don't have that in the journal. Well, anyway, Goofuth doesn't really believe in all of that. Excuse me. But he's certainly glad to know that there's at least a clue he has as to where to look in case the path south doesn't yield any results. Now we're fine equipment-wise, at least for the time being. Don't have any gold, which is fine with Goofuth as long as he doesn't actually need anything that he would have to buy. I think the scimitar, he's fine with it. He's fine with the dagger. The scimitar, I think, is still a bit too heavy for his taste. But he's going to find something eventually that pleases his fighting style a bit more. And here's Piper, who's actually trying well, he's trying to form a cult, and then he's basically a madman. Goofuth doesn't have any interest in dealing with him. Although he's very annoyed by him. I think in Goofuth's mind it would be the job of the mayor or somebody to actually quiet this guy down. He's really annoyed by him, and he doesn't think what he's doing is really productive in any way. And he's passed him for the third time now. I think he's getting quite on edge. If that keeps on for much longer, he's probably going to do something about it. As for his general mood, he's still worried. For one thing, about Drogon, of course. For his well-being. But he's also, of course, worried about the Harpers and what they are up to, what their scheme is. I also think he's getting lonely. At least a little bit. I think, yeah, and something I wanted to point out again is this Katriana, the young halfling lady. I think Goofuth is a bit smitten with her. I think he's got a little crush on her. Gathering up his courage to actually speak with her again. There's the guard captain, which I guess guarding the town gate to the south. Greetings, Goofuth. You're not thinking of heading beyond the wall, are you? With all them kobolds out there? Yeah. Telling him that he needs to find those kobolds. You're going to be looking for them? Well, that's a switch. At any rate, if you're going out there, be careful. There's no telling what you'll encounter on the road this time of year. Goofuth could have done without that warning. He can handle himself in the wilderness. Thank you for visiting Hilltop. Community that cares. That's neat. Yeah, Goofuth is a bit lonely, actually, I think. It would be different if it'd be in the woods where there's a lot of animals around, but I think that's this. Apart from him being worried, he's getting confused by all those new things. There's the townspeople he has to deal with. He didn't have to do that before, and he's not used to dealing with people. And I think being out there and dealing with people who have confusing needs and demands, I think makes him feel a bit lost. I think he's toyed with the idea of asking Dorna to accompany him, if just for companionship. But then again, he feels that since this is supposed to be his final test from Jogan, would be unfair. He's going to do it if it becomes necessary, but until then he's just going to keep up with doing it himself, even if he is a bit lonely. Alright, somebody over there. Farron Valiant Heart. Elf. With a look of quiet awareness. I think I already mentioned that Goofuth isn't comfortable around male elves because basically every one of them could be his father.
I greet you.
Come and warm yourself by my fire. It is a cold night and the road, as you can see, is more dangerous than usual. I always love those options. Like number one here. Yeah. I think he'd rather be on his way, but he'd take the opportunity to ask him if he's seen the kobolds. It's been a long and tedious winter's nights for me. Now what brings a half-elven man such as yourself to these parts? You're from the village of Hilltop, I take it? Yeah, looking for the group of kobolds. I see. In that case you have both good and bad luck. The kobolds passed by on this very road. As you can see, however, they met an ambush. Yeah, we can see some bodies there, although, yeah. Almost looks like a minotaur or something. I was nearby and watched the entire event as it occurred. I can tell you what I saw if you wish. Yeah, I'd like to hear that. A group of gnolls, okay, so that's what that is, leapt out from the forest, taking the kobolds by surprise. They exchanged words, but I could not hear clearly. I believe the gnolls were demanding something. Regardless, it was obvious that the kobolds were not about to comply. They fought, but the gnolls had the obvious advantage. Some of the kobolds ran towards the elven crypt, I believe, while a larger group fled north towards the mountains. Asking him if he's seen anything else. As a matter of fact, I believe I saw a single kobold come out of the elven crypt not long ago. He seemed skittish and frightened. Perhaps a messenger or a lone survivor. Now that's interesting, because if I remember correctly, the halfling told us that to the east there is one who has something that Goofuth seeks, and he's frightened. Maybe that's one of the kobolds who's been split up from the rest of the group. Asking him if he saw where that one went. He headed east, strangely. So that appears connected. I would have thought he would go north towards the mountains. East lies the human village of Bloomberg. Why would he go with that? Perhaps he was confused, I cannot say. If the kobold showed his face in the human village, however, I doubt that he still lives. Asking where the gnolls went. They looted what corpses remained, of course, and took a group of surviving kobolds prisoner and headed east. They headed east as well. Where do you think they were going? I am unsure. Perhaps they turned south and entered the high forest. I'm told that there are several knoll caves there. Goofuth knows his way around the high forest, I think. Passed through there on his way to the silvery marshes. Tell me about the Elven Crypt. It is the burial place for the Elven warriors of Ascalorn from long ago. It is a shameful tale of our people, and therefore the crypt lies forgotten. If the kobolds did indeed enter within, they will not last long. Better that they had remained without and died at the hand of the gnolls. I'm surprised that the haunting voices that echo through the crypt did not drive them out immediately. Asking him what he did, if he intervened. Why would I? Kobolds and gnolls are both evil creatures. Let them slaughter each other if that's their desire. It is too bad they did not wipe each other out. At any rate, hunting these creatures is not why I am here. I just happened to witness the event, that is all. You're asking about the area. There's not much to tell. These are the foothills of the Nether Mountains, and the road you are on leads eastward to the human village of Bloomberg. There are trails that lead higher into the mountains up north. The Nether Mountains are home to kobolds and orcs, best beware. To the south of here lies the edge of the high forest, a dangerous place to travel if you are unfamiliar with it. At that point I think he's interested who the hell he is. My name is Farron Valiantheart, Ranger and Arcane Archer of the High Forest Wood Elves, at your service. I think Goofuth has at least heard of Arcane Archers. Maybe even met one of them during his travel, so he knows what that is. So he's going to ask him to elaborate. Indeed, I am one of a select few who have dedicated ourselves to the mastery of the bow, combining magic and archery into one discipline. You are of elven blood. While this might not be your path currently, perhaps it is something you might consider in the future. Yeah, that's actually one of the prestige classes for the expansion, I think, that wasn't in the original game, the Arcane Archer, but you'd need, I think, at least one level of arcane spellcasting for that, so that's probably not going to happen. Asking why he's here. Excuse me. I am hunting, if you must know. My quarry here is the elusive Shadowheart. Indeed, it is a rare and wonderful beast. White as the snow all around us and possessing the unique quality to vanish into the winds. I'm loath to kill such a magnificent beast, but I simply must have his horns. They are part of the only cure for an illness my wife has contracted, I'm afraid. Yeah, those moral problems are pretty much beyond Goofuth, I think. But asking him out of a pure hunter's curiosity, I think, how he would kill such a beast. He does not vanish entirely. Indeed, if you have ever seen a blink dog, the Shadowheart moves very similarly. It teleports short distances away in order to flee. I remember about blink dogs. I'm going to write that down. But I don't know what kind of creature they actually are. I don't think they're just animals. They may be solar creatures or something like that. I'm going to look that up. This does not make it impossible to hunt, but it does make it very difficult. Still, I have no choice. I must have those horns or perish in the attempt. I think Goofuth is curious about this elven crypt. If, in fact, the gnolls went there, because they might have the artifacts if they fought those kobolds. Very well. I will tell you a little of the tale, though only because you are of elven blood yourself. That crypt belonged to the warriors of Ascalorn, the capital and crown jewel of the ancient elven nation of Earlan. No doubt you have never heard of such a place. It fell into ruin long ago, you see, when its rulers became jealous of the power of man. Something else to look up here. Did not hear that ever before. They sought out dark arts to give them power.